Yes, we hear you loud and clear, and welcome to the station. How do you hear us?
I hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much for your invitation. And hello again to Mr. Tingle. Just a month ago we spoke with him, yet on the Earth, and now it's from the orbit. So, first of all,
hello again. It's great to be speaking with you.
And my first question is about the holiday itself. How actually did the crew celebrate the New Year and Christmas? Because I know that you are tied to a particular Greenwich time, but someone mentioned that you did it many times on the orbit.
Well, the holidays were a special time for all of us. Obviously, this is all three of our first times up on station, and to spend it here on ISS, what a unique opportunity to do that, especially with the colleagues that we are, and the years that we've known each other. It was very special, very special time in our lives. We did spend it by talking with our families a little bit on some video conferencing and with phone calls. But the Christmas time was a little bit busy. We had a lot of work to do with some cargo ops with the Dragon that's attached or docked to ISS. And on New Year's Day, we took a little bit of time off. But more importantly, we celebrated by having a nice, good dinner with our Russian colleagues down in the Russian segment. They were very hospitable to us, and it was fun to sit and relax with them.
Speaking of a good dinner, did actually Mission Control allow you a sip of champagne there?
No, I think the question was, were we allowed champagne? No, we're not allowed any alcohol, but our Russian crewmates went ahead and made us some grape juice with labels that made it look like we had champagne, so that was kind of fun to pretend.
Speaking about holidays on the orbit, there's a multinational crew, and definitely depends on the national holidays, religious holidays. You could celebrate them many times. Do you usually do it all together, or there's like separate groups that celebrate in their corners?
That's a really good question. We come from, we have 16 to 18 international partners that make up the ISS program, and we all work very hard together. Right now we have three nationalities, being Russia, Japan, and America, on board in the close quarters. So we recognize each other's holidays, and we celebrate their holidays. They celebrate our holidays. We respect all of our different cultures, and we celebrate in the togetherness on the special days that our friends have.
I oftentimes heard about American wing and the Russian wing on this station. So basically what we see when the new crew arrives on the orbit, that everybody's hugging, posing together for the camera, but then it looks like the work goes to the different parts of the station. It's like one house but different apartments. Is that how the work is usually built there? You're all separate, or how often do you actually come together and do some experiments and stuff all together, Russians, Americans, and the others?
So it is definitely one crew, but our work is controlled by, on the U.S. segment, that means Japan, the United States right now. We have our plan put together largely by Mission Control Center in Houston, leading other nations, and then the Russian crew members, their day is controlled largely separately. So yes, most of our day we're not interacting. We certainly come together for special dinners, and we have a movie night together. And sometimes, for example, especially when we only had 3 crew members on the station, we were shorthanded for some work, and we asked the Russians to help, and they came in and joined up when it was really crucial to make that happen. but you're right. Most of our day is largely spent separately.
You mentioned the movie nights. In what languages are those movies, and what kind of movies can you mention?
What kind of movies?
Any kind of movies if we want. We can ask the ground flight controllers to uplink the movies. So we are picking up one person at a time, and that person select the movie, and we ask that movie for the ground to uplink to watching on board the station.
So what was the last one? Probably Last Jedi, or sort of?
Well, the last movie night was a Russian pick, and they picked the 310 to Yuma.
All right. I know that being prepared by the Roscosmos program, you have several certain procedures according to the Russian space program, including learning Russian language. And they also have some traditions like watching certain movies before launching on the orbit. Did you actually follow those steps as American or Japanese crew?
Absolutely. As we're preparing for a launch, it's a great time to follow those traditions. They're actually a lot of fun. And the Bielej Pustine...
Белое солнце пустыни. That's it.
Nice. Thank you for saving me from that. That movie is actually pretty entertaining, especially when we're helped out with the English subtitles.
So what would you say about this tradition of blessing of the rocket by a priest? Does it something like that exist in NASA in the United States?
That's a really good question. None of us have gone through a launch in the United States, so we're not really sure. I'm going to look into that, and hopefully the next time we talk, I'll have a good answer for you.
Speaking of launch in the United States, we know that there are at least 2 such launches planned for next summer, including private corporations. Could you share with us maybe some of your friends, maybe you already aware about who is scheduled for that flight?
Those decisions have not been made yet. We have a select crew at NASA and that are working the programs, but the final decisions have not been made. And as soon as they are, I'm sure they'll be published.
So today we've seen a very exciting video from SpaceX. They already put vertical the Falcon Heavy rocket with, I'm surprised, a Tesla car inside of it. So do you think it's kind of a PR move from Elon Musk, or this is a real big move for the space exploration?
Well, launching a car into space, I don't think really has a whole lot of utility other than to show that you can do it. But it's a big move for Elon Musk and SpaceX. So God bless him. I wish him the best luck in the world.
Right before the new year, President Trump announced the new goals for NASA in space, and someone noticed that instead of direct Mars exploration, he shifted the attention to returning to Moon. Do you think this is a wise step, or maybe how could it actually get us closer to the other planets?
I think it's an extremely wise step. I think the Moon provides us an excellent opportunity to rehearse relatively close to the Earth, inhabiting a planetary-sized object, with the ability, if things go wrong, to get people back fairly easily, relatively easily, certainly compared to going to the Mars. I think it's going to be a huge step for humanity to have a lasting presence any place other than the Earth, other than low Earth orbit. So I'm really looking forward to getting people on the moon, keeping them there for long periods of time, and then using that as a way to test out equipment to get ready to make sure we do it safely when we finally do get to Mars.
And the other news about Moon, which went virtually unnoticed, that was the big Congress in Australia when there was announced that United States and Russia are going to build together a space station on the Moon orbit to further advance to Mars. Could you further comment on this? Because it's based on the date that were provided, it's pretty close. Like first modules could be there already into 2024.
Going back to the moon is a bigger project than a lot of people think. Just because we've done it before doesn't mean that we're that close to doing it now. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of engineering to do. We've got a lot of planning to do. We've got a lot of operations to do. And it's going to be expensive. It's going to take a lot of manpower. It's going to take a lot of thinking outside the box to make it as quickly and efficiently as we can. And we can't do that alone. We're going to need to do it with international partners. So I do believe that the international partnership will work. I believe it'll be necessary to really have a good product and to be able to achieve success with that mission goal.
Out of the blue, if I ask you, what do you regard as the biggest space achievement of the last year, 2017, what would you name?
I think sending Norishige Kanai and Scott Tingle to the space station was the biggest achievement, and it's a wonderful thing having these guys up here. That's a huge burst of energy, and we're really having a great time getting a lot of stuff done since they've arrived.
That's wonderful, gentlemen. My final question, probably this is yet the New Year mood, especially in Russia when they have all vacation for next week until the Orthodox Christmas. Would you wish something for our audience, and probably in Russian, if you wish?
Я очень рад работать на станции и
И с Новым годом!
Я согласен с Новым годом и большое спасибо за все вы делаете.
Thank you very much again. Thank you for your time. Have a good flight and many more exciting experiments on the orbit. Thanks a lot.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from Voice of America. We are now resuming operational audio communications.